I'm Keziah Young, and this is On the Mat, a YouTube space where we sit and talk about the many layers of life, particularly grief and the impermanent nature of our being. Take a moment, sit with me. Welcome back to On the Mat. Thank you for joining me either again or for the first time. Welcome. Today on the mat, I am thinking about safe spaces and safe places. Safe spaces and safe places. We carry a lot. We're not these linear beings moving through time and space without thought, feeling emotion, complexity, grief, fears, worry, anxiety, just all of the dynamics. Whether we're in touch with it or not, we're complete with many, many layers. And so that brings me to the thought of where it is that we have to go with the fullness of who we are. Who can we turn to? Do you have someone with whom you can truly bear your soul, where you can truly lay down what is on your mind, eating at you? Maybe you need a sounding board, someone with whom to process or cry on or with. Do you have that? And I'm thinking about that because I recently contacted a friend where, there's a level of closeness, of true closeness. But I started to notice how we seem to be growing a little apart, not really in touch in the way that we had been. And it started to stand out to me. And particularly because I'm not someone who runs with an entourage. I do not have a host of friends like that, where we're doing brunches, we're going here, we're going there. For the majority of my life, for the most of my life, I'm very much just sort of solo moving through my life. Be that because of causes and conditions, personality, not necessarily feeling like I belong in every situation, which we don't belong in every situation, right? If we find ourselves belonging in every situation, we should probably think about who we are and whether or not that's actually true, right? Or maybe we're trying to please people, but I digress. I've been more of a solo, and the closest person to me tends to be my partner, right? If I'm partnered, which I am now. So time is spent, in relationship there. So the friends that I do have, I can probably count on one hand. I might have an extra, I might have some room on this one hand, um, because I hold close time and attention because we don't get time back. I'm not going to waste it. I also very much enjoy my own time, so I make sure that I prioritize that above anyone. And so if I notice a change, it becomes clear to me because I'm not distracted. And so I reached out and was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like for real, for real. Not what are you doing and all of the things on the surface. Oh, I'm going here, I'm going, not that, but let me just go a little deeper and check in. Because I find myself reaching out and it's just like, something's different here. And I don't want to make any assumptions, right? I want to check in. And so that friend responded and really gave me the fullness of the experience. And I'm like, this is what it's about. First of all, we want to be people for our friends who actually care, who notice, who do not make assumptions, take anything personally, but to inquire. Because everyone's having their own experience. Everyone, you just never know what a person is going through, right? So to ask and then to even say, and I want to know truthfully, like I really want to know, I really care. And to me, that shows love. And then for a person to feel like you are a safe space for them to delve into the deep end and bear what is happening, that's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And so in this moment, I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about the importance of having a safe space and place to be transparent and vulnerable, and how important it is to be that. Because many people may not be that. They may not be aware that they're not that. It requires mindfulness and cultivation. And it also requires that we're honest with ourselves, that we're able to hold ourselves. Because if we can't hold ourselves, then we're going to misuse and abuse, whether and probably likely unintentionally, the sharings of another. And so today on the mat, I'm inviting us to reflect on the safe spaces and places that we have in our lives. And if we don't, how are we feeling about that? Then what are we doing with the things that we carry? Who are we confiding in? And not from a gossip, commiserate place, but from a, I really need to share the happenings because it's heavy. A lot of times we feel like we can only share the good stuff, right? We can only share, oh, life is good, this is happening and that is happening. And then you find out that maybe a person took their life, or maybe they're getting a divorce, or maybe something is happening with their child, and you're like, wow, I had no idea. How is it that we're friends and we have no idea? Are we really pausing to inquire and then to be present for the sharing? Some people are just like, oh, I don't want to hear about that. Well, then what is of this life if we don't want to hear about that? Where is the richness, the meaning, and the purpose if we don't want to hear about it? Is it because we don't know how to be with it? Sometimes just listen to it, and that is the beingness. That is the holding. There's nothing to fix. You don't need any suggestions or tips. But if you have some and they're welcome, have at it. Otherwise, we can just hold the space in a warm, secure way. I'm here for you. Thank you for letting me know what's going on, because I recognize that's not easy to say. That has to be hard to deal with, to be inside of, to feel. And yet you felt, safe and comfortable enough to tell that to me, to share it. I appreciate that and don't take it for granted or lightly. That's holding space. It's being present, it's bearing witness. And that is important. It's important for us to have the capacity and even the desire to be a safe space and place or person for another, and for us to know that we have that as well. So today on the mat, I want us to investigate ourselves and see where in our lives we are awake to having a safe space or being that for another. And if not, finding a path to it. Because again, we carry a lot. Life isn't linear. The dynamics are many. Everyone is navigating something. And sometimes we just need to lay it down at the feet of another and explore it. To hear ourselves say it, to get the reverberation, right? The sounding board, the processing. May we all have a safe space and place. And may we cultivate that within ourselves and develop those qualities and characteristics within that allow us to be there for another truly. And in the in between space, if there's some type of change, inquire, don't assume. Ask, don't take it personally. Be with what is without creating a story behind it. So, yeah, here is to the beingness of safe spaces and places, and practicing being a safe space and place for another. Thank you for joining me here again on the mat, and I hope you come back around. Sit with me.